and at the same time be working on what those next sets of goals and visions are,
So it would be.
which is the current plan.
It would be the city's commitment to establish goals and policies to achieve revitalization, economic revitalization citywide, which benefits all the citizens.
I like it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Thank gosh we got a tape recorder going.
Yeah.
In the body of the summary statement of the agenda bill, then I will discuss what our intent is.
Good.
Okay.
Good thought.
Item 2.
Yes, item 2 is, you'll see like, for instance, deferral of impact fees on here twice. I want to explain the purpose of that. The purpose of it is we have what's called a policy, which is either a resolution or a technical document. And then we have the Washougal Municipal Code. Our deferral of impact fees is something that is not permitted according to our current code. The current code says you shall pay your impact fees at the time of issuance of building permit. So it requires a change in the language of the code, which goes to Planning Commission and then comes to you. They'll be holding their public hearing on March 23rd. And you have to approve that first and then look at whether you're going to approve a policy on deferred impact fees. So in the notebooks I gave out, I think the major things I need to discuss with you are at the end of the first of the agenda bill. But I do want to just mention to you that my recommendation is based on the fact, if you look at Exhibit A, we are one of the very lowest. We're the third from the bottom of charging impact fees, and this is a residential comparable. I do have the agreement, the draft agreement. City Attorney and I are meeting tomorrow to discuss it, and I want to talk further about the items that are in there. Just for information, I provided a section of the white paper that was prepared by for Clark County Commissioners related to the fact that permits and fees, including impact fees, is 5% of construction costs for a residential. At retreat, it was suggested that I go out and get a real estate and a legal land use attorney's opinion, and so I've included that as well. Then I did a jurisdictional comparison, the outcome of it was that all but one city deferred the impact fee to either final occupancy permit or final occupancy inspection. Only one comparable jurisdiction referred it to closing or escrow. The one thing that would be unique about Washougal's would be that we would apply it to, if you agree, to all uses. It's pretty typical for other jurisdictions to only apply it to residential or only apply it to commercial. And like, for instance, the city of Camas applies it to industrial. However, there's a caveat, especially industrial expansion. In order to qualify for this deferment, you have to bring in a certain dollar amount of property taxes to the city of Camas to qualify to participate in this. Now at the end, and it's for 3 years only, at the end of that 3 years, you are given credit up to 25% of the impact fee charge based on how much, if you're able to bring that much property tax in. We have a little difficulty with that because most of our industrial land is owned by the port, so we're not going to see that. So this would not have any caveats to it if you agree. The other thing that makes us unique is that we would apply it to all our impact fees except for school because they've opted out. Other jurisdictions, I would say the majority of them only do it for transportation impact fees. You also have to remember, in addition to this program, we're working on the business enhancement factor. What that is an existing program that gives already a 20 to 30% reduction in traffic impact fees for high retail sales generating businesses. So this would be in addition to that. So the combination of all these incentives is, they just build on one another. So if we could go back to the agenda bill and the last page, I guess what I'm looking for is I'm trying to see if I can get council's concurrence, or I can feel a sense of your all agreeing to what I bring forward, and that is to defer to sheetrock inspection for residential uses, and defer to final occupancy inspection for commercial or industrial. That we defer all impact fees that we have, transportation, park, and fire. That we defer all land uses, that it's a trial period, and if you look at the agreement, the agreement talks about how we'll measure that, and it would be a comparable to one-time construction revenue that we received in 2009. You see, there's an increase. Require them to enter into an agreement that is recorded, and they bear the cost of the recording of that as well as the cost of recording a lien against the property. The impact fee amount is vested at the time of issuance of building permit for a period of 1 year. In other words, if any fees are increased, they're not affected by it. And then there was some discussion at retreat about thinking about having an upfront cost, 50-50 deposit, and my recommendation is not to have that. So I wanted to discuss it a little, but I have to say that this agenda bill is only asking to set the public hearing.
Paul?
The one thing that kind of almost got me out of my chair is the school impact fee issue. School impact fees the school impacts can't possibly start until after the sheetrock inspection. On the other hand, the transportation impacts begin with the construction vehicles and the delivery of materials. My question really is, does the school board get to control that? I thought we actually controlled the impact fee question.
It's my understanding that we control whether we will collect a certain amount. I would have to ask legal counsel on that, but that's my understanding. I can tell you that I can't find any other jurisdiction where it applies to schools. The only reason I include schools originally was based on a public comment during the impact fee public hearing.
And it just seems to me that for the schools, since the impact can't start until you've got occupancy, and you're on a 6-year-long fuse, the longer they can defer the collection, the better off they are. So
May I ask for an audience to clear up something?
Legislature expanded the school's timeline to 10 years, so.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Traffic and parks is 6, schools are 10.
Thank you, Mike.
John?
I would like to see it be consistent across commercial and residential at setting it at escrow, at the close, at the sale, not at sheetrock. And I say that from the standpoint of consistency, which will be easier for us when we have to go back and maybe can re-implement or get rid of the deferral program. But also just knowing how these guys build homes, it'll make it a lot easier on them to be able to complete a home if it can be wrapped into the final sale. So I think that, to me, that makes a lot more sense, especially if our drive and our force is to get these guys going again in our community.